In life, we meet many people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different characters. I am very, very proud to call Chuah Ming a very dear friend. When you were previously engaged with two companies that I know, one was in...
It was in the
spirits.
Spirits, yes.
Of the beverage type, yes? Okay.
The drinking one.
Yes. And the other one?
The other one was a cosmetic company. Right. And that was just before I joined, actually.
And I remembered you used to share with me it was a very high-flying position that you held, because you were saying how you could be having breakfast in Italy and then by dinner you are in Paris or something like that.
Yeah.
So now that you are in Kachara, what made the change?
To start off with, it was when I met Rinpoche in '92. At that time, I was very young. I would say the world was in my hands, I thought, and very little at that time. I thought everything I could control, your happiness, where you want to go, who you want to marry, you want to do this, you want to do that, but then life began when I graduated. Then everything went apart. Of course, I had a good time in those two companies. They gave me a lot of opportunities, but it was always a feeling of what's next. What's next? Oh, congratulations, you have this promotion. What's next? Oh, you have a boyfriend. Okay, what's next?
So therefore, you were successful in a very samsaric context.
Worldly context.
Worldly, okay.
Very worldly context. At that time, you could just travel whenever you want to. But it was always very empty. Questions came on during that time. Why? What's with this emptiness? Why certain people I loved had to go through so much problems? They are not good. They are good people. Lots of questions then came about, and it was at the end of the day when everything was so hunky dory. But when you go back home, you actually tend to question more, and that was what brought me to Dharma.
So how long have you been in Kachara?
Oh, many years. I would say many years. I would say around 7 years.
Wow.
7 years. I joined. I took the leap forward, and I have never regretted since then. It has changed my world, my perception, how I see problems as, how I approach a problem, how I approach a situation, and that was actually the main leap I actually ever done in my life.
Okay, I'm going to make a conclusion that the last 7 years, the biggest impact in your life, of course, has been the presence of His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche.
Of course.
I'm going to ask you a question. In the last 7 years, how did you begin finding answers? And how did Dorje Shugden play a role in your soul searching?
When I started, Rinpoche actually asked me a question: what do I want to achieve? And I told Rinpoche I wanted to be happy. And then Rinpoche laughed, and he says that for me to achieve happiness, I have to focus out. I have to make others happy before I can even be happy. And that's what Rinpoche told me. And that was the impact, that was the message Rinpoche has given me as advice, which I hold quite dearly until today. And it's true. And it's because every time when you help others, when you see their satisfaction, when you see the happiness, when you see like their loved ones, bedridden, and then with the help of Dorje Shugden, they are all right again. When you see family breaking apart, and with the help of Dorje Shugden, they are closer. With the help of Dorje Shugden, they are united. When you see businesses falling apart for no reasons, you see the help of Dorje Shugden providing the necessary for them to go on. From there, when you see their face, they are relieved. All this, number one, automatically, when I go home, I feel satisfied. Even though my role might not be so big, but you had a role to play in. And that what to me was very rewarding in that sense, because you brought Dorje Shugden to others. And because of that, they have conducive condition for them to continue.
So Dorje Shugden has played a very important role in your life because you have witnessed his miracles.
Yes.
Would you like to share, actually please do share, yourself personally, how has Dorje Shugden helped you in your life, perhaps personally for you or with your loved ones?
On a spiritual level, I should start with that. It has, to start off with, by watching what I mentioned earlier, like all the results, the miracles, the results. I've learned a lot from these miracles performed by Dorje Shugden. I've let go of a lot of expectation, and because of that, I have let go of anger. Anger, I have, in all sense, I've seen quite a lot of things between families, between individuals, between people in general. I have to let go of this is because you do not want to end up like them. So I'm saying this is because through what Dorje Shugden performed, I see it reflected on me. And when it reflected on me, I changed. That's spiritual. How it has helped me miraculously? I think my mom have said everything. My mom was on the earlier interview. She have said everything. But I think one very major miracle which Dorje Shugden had performed was actually my nephew. When he was born, when my sister-in-law delivered him, he was rushed into the emergency ward. And at that time, Rinpoche was with me, and Rinpoche rushed me down to the hospital, and Rinpoche just messaged me, get yourself into ICU no matter what. Blow your protector, which is Dorje Shugden's mantra, onto your nephew. Blow it 3 times, ask him to come and help. I saw my nephew, I mean, he was in ICU, there were tubes all over him. It was like in a small, what do you call that, the incubator, and he had basically tubes here, tubes on his nose, and he was just this small. And when I was blowing the mantra onto him, and of course I asked DS to help, he opened his eyes and he just stared at me.
Wow.
And when he stared at me, and I asked DS, I requested Dorje Shugden to help this boy. And it was quite amazing because right after I left the ICU ward, he got better. And within a few hours later, they could take out all the tubes.
Wow, that's quite instantaneous.
It was very instant. It was very instantaneous. It was incredible because even the nurses were shocked. Because normally with babies with this problem, it will take a week for them to heal their lungs, to start going back to normal. Yep. So that was the sign which actually, that was the miracle side what Dorje Shugden has done for my family, and in particular my nephew. So that,
whom we all know is the apple of your eye.
yes, he is my darling.
Many people have anger, and they manifest in different actions. I would like you to share more, if you don't mind, how before embracing Dorje Shugden, how the anger consumed you, and how the practice of Dorje Shugden allowed you to let it go.
Anger arises because of expectation. I think that is what we learn.
What were some of your expectations?
My expectation was, oh, this person is supposed to be this way, this person is supposed to be that way, I am supposed to be this way, or, you know, the condition is supposed to be this conditions, you know.
So you were, shall I say, how many young ladies like yourself, you were complying with social norms.
Yes.
And therefore, perhaps angry with yourself for losing who you are?
Yes, correct. And after, what happened is Rinpoche taught me to do my daily prayers. And during my daily prayers, to reflect at your expectation, to reflect at the people who has hurt you, to reflect on that. And from there, slowly, when you're doing that reflection, you sort of let go. On top of it, when you actually pray to Dorje Shugden, you realize that this is not just it, there are more than just this, than your anger, than your expectation, which you need to go on with, because you know what? Life continues. All these reflections are done during my prayers. My prayers every night it can be 15 minutes, it can be half an hour. It depends on how much reflection I want to do. But at the end of the day, you realize that, hey, you're supposed to move forward in life, not backwards. And because of this expectation, you're moving backwards. You are only at loss. So this is how Dorje Shugden has helped me. Of course, it's with Dharma knowledge. More of Dharma knowledge than just pray.
So with Rinpoche teaching you the wisdom of Dharma, and when you sit and you say your daily prayers to Dorje Shugden, when he, shall we say, comes into your mind to appease and clarify, it gels together.
Yeah. But but what I feel is Dorje Shugden have provided, the most important thing is he has provided me the conducive condition for me to do my Dharma work. I can tell you there are times where financially certain things have been pulled out. But then there's always another window of opportunity opening. I've seen that for myself to do Dharma work, because honestly, even though you work for Dharma, you have to pay the bills. You have to do a lot of things. But I see that by practicing Dorje Shugden daily, by having that connection, certain window of opportunities open. Even for my own special projects, when you do Dorje Shugden prayers, when you request him to meet the right people will come. It takes hard work, effort, but it's easier when you are engrossed with certain projects where you need certain things to pull through. The conducive condition comes about.
That means in your projects you are facing problems or obstacles that is in the way of you moving forward.
Correct. Or when you're in danger, sometimes another road opens up so that you will avoid that road. And you know very well when you don't know that it's danger, but it's only after you've been through the new road, which I very much believe Dorje Shugden actually open it up for you, that you know that, oh, thank goodness I didn't take that road.
Right.
So there's a lot of all this in this kind of signs, this kind of miracle help, which I see very much, even within myself. Within others, I see a lot more.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you didn't just follow or join the bandwagon because people were doing this and you said, oh, I'll do it too. You have actually spent time, shall we say, with the best word I can think of right now is you actually did your due diligence before you went 100% into full belief.
Yes, because one of the reasons is because before any practice is given to us, Rinpoche has always said that faith has to be based on knowledge, not blind faith.
Correct.
Because that is very unshakable. So before actually embracing this protector, I did my research. But all I've seen throughout the years I've been practicing Dorje Shugden is kindness, compassion, and love from this protector. Not only for myself, I see it around for others who are practicing it, or even those who are not practicing it. I've seen his patience, I've seen his love, and how he has given solace to people who has lost hope. Light for people who just feel darkness in their life. I've seen all these opportunities opening up for them whereby they can change their way to go. Instead of going down, they actually went up with Dorje Shugden.
Okay. So, in light of that, I'm going to ask you my final question. Behind the practice of Dorje Shugden is a controversy that involves suffering, segregation. There is a ban enforced whereby practitioners and non-practitioners are split. From what I've heard, you have a 100% faith in the powers and the protection and the blessings of Dorje Shugden. What words would you share with the audience who's watching this right now about why this controversy should end?
The controversy, personally, does not affect me because it has been given to me by my teacher, my guru. It has affected a lot of Tibetans I've seen in my own eyes. I've seen the separation. I've seen how families are split. I've seen all this. It does not make sense because if we go on studying onto this controversy, nothing makes sense. The foundation of Tibetan Buddhism is your teacher, your guru. How can His Holiness Guru be wrong? How can His Holiness Tsem Rinpoche be wrong? So it does not make sense. If the Tibetans would like to move forward, please release the ban because it's splitting the Tibetans apart. It does not affect non-Tibetans, but if you look carefully, it really affects the Tibetans. No point splitting families because that's not the basis of Buddhism.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's my plea.
Thank you. You've just heard a transformation. A transformation of a young lady who thought she had it all until wisdom was imparted onto her and until Dorje Shugden showed her a way through clarity, through miracles, and having the opportunity to witness so much of what Dorje Shugden can do to help, to protect, to bless, to bring people together, to harness love, harmony, and peace. Therefore, we both plea that this ban, this controversy, will come to an end as soon as possible.